Good morning, traders. It's Chris from the daxtrader.co.uk and it's Tuesday the 14th of May. And let's just take a look at the Dax Technical Analysis with the trading disclaimer in the description as normal. Alright, so the situation really is this, that the trend is still bearish as far as the continued pattern of lower lows and lower highs is concerned on the hourly chart. We can go ahead now and probably just say that this is another new low. And we can't really confirm any lower highs just yet. So we've got to consider a couple of scenarios. So the first scenario is that the price just continues to move to the downside. And if that's the case, then clearly the opportunities are to look for shorts. And the targets can be, well, I mean, depending on how long this trade dispute goes on for, can be really as low as you would want them to be. So scenario one is that there's just a continuation move to the downside, but from what point does it turn around from this bounce? So there's a couple of spots. We could look at this particular area here as a bouncing spot just on the underside of 12,000. You've got also a couple of different areas where you could draw through like a retracement of this zone back up just a little tag above the 12,000 level and then head to the downside. But that's all assuming, of course, that this is the not the end of this bearish price action. So that would be one of the scenarios that we would be looking for. Picking the turnaround spot to look for a short is it's not exactly a skill, but it's a hazard, if you like, because you can definitely be looking at shorting while the bounce is continuing. So that's one of the perils that I'm going to be facing today because my bias is currently bearish. So that's the situation that we're looking at. But if you just go and examine this mini bounce from the low of, well, it'll be the overnight session or yesterday perhaps, a bit of both. But if you go and look at the price action from that, you'll see this. And you know, this tells a whole different story. So time frame analysis is important because when you look at this, it is a completely different structure. It's a bullish structure. Well, apart from this spike on the gap open this morning. But it's a kind of a bullish structure which, if this breaks above this high here at 950, 955, that will confirm that as a new higher low, and that is showing some sort of swing structure that we're familiar with anyway. You know, a lot of people looking at using geometry tools to kind of do modified shift forks and all this kind of stuff to figure out where you would want for or anticipate that price was going to head to. So these are the kinds of things that we're paying attention to at the moment. But of course, this is a 250 tick chart. It's not got a lot of data on it at the moment. So I'm just going to keep the wider big picture in mind for the moment. So that's what I'm thinking. Still bearish for the moment. We're just going to take a look at a couple of the things that are happening today. So these are some of the pivot levels from the site. This site will probably be looking to be published towards the end of the month. This is my new theme I'm creating. And we've got a few of the technicals that you can clearly see, and you've got a lot of neutral going across the majority of these technical indicators at the moment. 30-minute chart is giving some mixed, but still overall it looks like the majority of them are pretty positive. And if we just go down and have a look at the economic calendar for today, you can already see that we've had some numbers come out today. The ZEV index was disappointing, and -2 with a forecast of 5. So just go and have a look at what the ZEV numbers are if you're not too sure, but it's published as a measure of the institutional investor sentiment. So it reflects the difference between the share of investors that are optimistic and the share of analysts that are pessimistic. So it's pretty good sense check of what's going on behind the scenes, but that was a pretty poor number, and there was a current situation that was really the only positive release at 8.2, but the main one significantly missed the expectations, so a little bit disappointing in Germany. Looking forward, we do have a couple of other numbers tomorrow. You've got the GDP numbers quarter on quarter first thing tomorrow morning. Pay attention out for that. There's also retail sales from the US that generally has a little bit of a shift, and there's some China numbers coming out in the overnight Asian session. So a few things to watch out for tomorrow. But the majority of the high impact news has already come out today, so the rest of the session let's hope will be a sort of momentum day. Okay, and we'll just come back in on the charts real quick. There we go. And we'll have a look at these levels over here. So the day type yesterday was bottom heavy. The majority of the volume was in the bottom half of the profile. You'll notice the point of control was down here at 11,879 with a pivot up here at 938. As far as trading is concerned today, we gapped lower, we closed the gap immediately. That generally suggests that a bounce is on the cards. But it all depends on whether we can break above and stay above this value area high at 951. Got a bit of a high volume area up here that will potentially provide a bit of resistance. And then you run straight into 12,000 beyond that. So it's unlikely, not impossible, but very unlikely that this is going to be a bullish reversal. That might well be my famous last words. I am happy if I'm wrong. It doesn't really make much difference. There's no point in predicting the market. It's just good to have scenarios planned out so you know what to do. But in order to get through 12,000 today, it's going to have to break through a number of different levels, not avoiding the fact it's going to break this high volume area and the high of yesterday as well. So lots of things to break. So I'm going to remain bearish for today personally. I may be wrong. So we'll just see what options or opportunities come and land in our laps or not. I'll update you again tomorrow on that. Just to also let you know that on the website I have updated the Forex trading results from last week. It was another good week for us. So if you want more information on that, you can find it on the website. But until tomorrow, guys, have a nice trading day, and I'll see you then. Take care.